In terms of where we are, as of now, we have identified positively 93 of the 97 victims. 93. I do not, and we're going to release the names of 26 today that have been coming out, the families where those were identified and the families have been notified and so forth. I do not expect any more. I just spoke with the medical examiner's office. Do not expect any more positive identifications to happen today. I was with the families, as I always am before I came here. We have told the families that there will be no further notifications today. And I can't tell you when you stand there looking at the 4 remaining, there actually were only 2 of the 4 remaining families and all of their supporting family that are there. Obviously, you can appreciate the anguish as they're waiting. But all I can say, and I told them we're doing everything in our power to get this completed. I should say, I am very, very pleased. I went over to meet with part of the DMOR team, the management support group that's operating out of Marriott, and thank them for the effort, because if you think about it, from the time we actually got most of the victims out of that site, which was about 6 o'clock on Friday, we had the 97th come out Saturday, but since Friday, in about 4 days, we will have positively identified and notified the families of 93 of the 97. So I think that's a real tribute to not only our own staff, the medical examiner and her staff, but the tremendous support that we've had in this process from the DMOR team and the federal group that have come in to assist us. Without it, we would be struggling much longer. So this has worked. It's a great example of a tremendous cooperation together. One of the things I mentioned last night was a possible discrepancy between missing persons reports and victims. We are narrowing that gap. We think we have pretty much matched up the missing persons reports with the victims. There's the possibility of one discrepancy that we're trying to track down now. So the concern that we had that perhaps we had not recovered all the victims, I do not think is the case right now. But just to make triply sure, we are bringing in this afternoon from the Connecticut State Police 2 trained dogs to assess that site. So we're going to sweep it again just to make certain that there's no stone, if you will, that we have not turned to make sure there are no victims remaining in that site. That's about it on the status. There's 2 other things that I think are important for you. The peers, as I think I mentioned in the past, it's fascinating to me, the families have asked for some kind of peer support group that they could get together in a venue and in the days, weeks, and months ahead have an opportunity to get together. We have organized that, and we've communicated that, the venue and so forth, to the families. In addition, tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock, we will have the Family Resource Center open. We put out a flyer for those families as well. It'll be at 883 Quaker Lane in Warwick. It'll be open from 10 a.m. to 8 a.m. And I asked the families for their benefit, not ours, for their benefit, giving them the number to call to make an appointment. So for their convenience, this will be organized, and it's not a case where many people will come there and have to sit around and wait. So we're doing everything we can to continue to support the families who are going through this horrific thing, and yet at the same time are moving as fast as we can to get the identification process done. What I would like to do is I'll entertain questions right now. Let me just say, questions regarding the investigation, I'm going to defer to the Attorney General. So what I'd like to do first is any questions not related to that that you want me to deal with, and then I'll leave because I want to get to Boston to those hospitals, and then I'm sure the Attorney General, as he has all along, will be available to you. Yes. Well, it's like anything else. Some of the reports, we had some situations where, as I said last night, a report had been filed. Actually, the missing person appeared, but right, they weren't connected, and that did not get deleted, if you will. We've got some cases where I believe we may have a report that is not accurate, that was not properly filed. So the state police and the West Warwick police are working together now, and as I said, they've narrowed it down. There's one that they're still trying to verify to make certain. No, I hadn't heard that. I'm sorry. I mean, the absolutely heartbreaking stories you hear day after day, hour after hour, it's just, you know, you get warned what these people are going through, and I could tell you more stories. That one I had not heard. Very sorry to hear that. Yeah, Jim? I don't know if is Jane here? Yeah, Jane Hayward is spearheading that effort, so let me ask Jane to comment.
There will be a variety of state resources and federal resources. The Social Security Administration, Department of Human Services, MHRH will oversee the grief counseling and grief referrals, as well as many community agencies. The Salvation Army, the American Red Cross will continue to support, and we will continue to have support from the Emergency Management Agency in terms of setup and operations. But we believe that families will be able to come in, be able to be seen, see a variety of programs in one place, and then we will be able to move them along in their process of making a recovery.
Have you heard from the federal government yet?
No, I have not. You mean regarding the female? No, I have not.
So just the mechanics for missing persons reports. Were 97 missing or 100 missing persons reports filed with the police after the fire? Is that how it works?
No, actually it was, if memory served me, I think there were actually 117 remember, the advent of the fire, people are nervous, they haven't heard from a loved one and so forth, so they came forward and filed missing persons reports. My memory says I think there were 117 actually filed. That goes to the point I was making earlier. But then people began that were thought to be missing, made it home or whatever, or made contact. So that's been whittled down. So.
And then the one person who you mentioned who appeared since you spoke last night, that was a person who appeared as fine, obviously.
Yes.
So it's down now to one discrepancy.
Well, I don't get there's a couple, but we think we've got one that we really don't understand that we're actually trying to probe further. Yeah.
What's the reason for the four not being identified?
It's just the medical examiner has to go through the process, and like anything else, I'm sure some are more difficult than others, and we're getting down to where you need to corroborate a lot of different pieces of information, and they just want to be absolutely certain. I think the expectation, as I spoke to them, is that all four should be able to be positively identified. When I asked, is DNA going to be necessary, she is still saying no. So,
You have to get the records for those four?
I believe so, but I'm not absolutely positive. John?
This crime tip line, can you give us some examples of like what types of calls or spark somebody to call this, and maybe they're out there and they don't realize that they have information that can help them?
I don't have direct information. I don't know, is Major Doherty? It's friendly, no.
People call in to the tip line just to give information from their past experience in that area with the club or with any persons that we may be interested in.
So someone has gone to the club in the past to perform there, you want them to call?
I'd rather not comment on that. If someone has information that would be beneficial to us, we would urge them to call. But does that answer your question?
Probably not. Yeah. But I think that it's all, you know, it's all part of a process here. What we're just trying to do is make it easy for someone to contact that might have some information, and the Attorney General and the investigatory team can then make an assessment. I don't know how many, but you're correct. There were personal items that were collected as part of going through the site. My understanding is they all get cataloged, described, and then there's a process where if family members are missing, they know that for instance, something, a ring or something, or a locket, that they will have an opportunity. This takes time because these were just found at random, as you can appreciate. So, but there is a process, and that normally, where they can be identified, they would be made available back to the families.
So the team of Connecticut State Police troopers and the canines arrived, and if so, how long are they expected to comb the place?
I don't know if they've arrived yet. Okay, they have arrived. And my understanding is two canines, and how long it takes, I'm not sure. Throughout the day is what Major Doherty indicated.
Arrived this morning?
I think they just arrived this afternoon. Yes. I'm sorry, I didn't hear the first part. What? I'm still don't understand the question. What about? The police were looking. I don't know. Again, that might be something for the investigation. Whether the police have confiscated that, I'm not sure. Let me just any other questions, and then I'll free the Attorney General. No. Well, I think that we had that 97th that came, Saturday, a day later, when we thought we had swept the site twice. I think in view of the fact that we were concerned about a discrepancy between missing persons reports and victims, that we thought, well, let's just go the extra mile and let's do it again and make certain. There's no reason right now. We're just trying to use an abundance of caution here. I believe. Yeah, this is the first time. Okay. Any other questions? And I know you've got a lot of questions for the Attorney General. Okay. Thank you.